Rue was so far off the grid that no map, not even a satellite image, showed the desert where we got lost. It started with the tech failing, as it always does in these stories. The GPS sputtered. The screen froze on a blank, pixelated landscape, and then it just died. We weren't worried, not at first. A desert is a desert, right? Sand. A relentless baking heat. An almost deafening silence. It all seemed normal. We figured we'd just drive straight until we hit a road. But then we noticed something wrong. The sun. It was stuck in the sky. High noon, just hanging there, refusing to move. Hours crawled by, but our shadows remained stubbornly short, clinging to our feet, too. It was the first sign that the rules of our world no longer applied. Then came the footprints. We stumbled across a trail in the sand, clear as day. The strange part. They were our footprints, identical to the tread on our boots. They stretched out ahead of us, leading into the vast emptiness. But when we turned around, the exact same set of prints trailed behind us, too. It was as if we were walking in a circle and a straight line at the same time. The desert was playing games with us. Panic began to set in, a slow, cold dread that the heat couldn't touch. We decided to camp for what we guessed was the night, even though the sun still blazed overhead. We rationed our supplies carefully, especially the water. But when we woke up, if you can call that restless, paranoid state sleep, our water was gone. Not spilled, not stolen. Vanished. The bottles were still there, lined up neatly, caps screwed on tight. But they were bone dry, as if the water had simply evaporated from inside the sealed plastic. The desert was thirsty. As the timeless day bled into an equally timeless night, fear, the silence we'd first found so peaceful, turned menacing. The desert began to whisper. It wasn't the wind sighing over the dunes. These were voices. They were soft, intimate, and they knew our names. They called to us from the deep darkness, weaving promises and memories into the air. Sarah heard her mother. Ben heard his little sister. They sounded so close, just beyond the edge of our flickering firelight. One by one, my friends got up and walked away. I begged them to stay, told them it was a trick. But the whispers were a siren song they couldn't resist. Sarah went first, a hopeful smile on her face as she stepped into the blackness. Then Ben, calling out his sister's name. None of them came back. Shoo. The only reply was the desert's soft, sibilant whispering, which now sounded like it was chewing on their names. I was left alone, shivering in the unnatural heat, listening to the desert digest my friends. I knew I had to leave. I had to run. I was packing what little I had left when I felt it. A slow, rhythmic pulse beneath my feet. The ground itself was moving. I looked down, and the sand was rising and falling, in and out, like the chest of some colossal, sleeping creature. The desert was breathing. And with each exhalation, buried things began to push their way up through the surface. It was a graveyard of lost things. A rusty vintage car, a smartphone from a decade ago, a child's worn teddy bear. And bones. So many bones. Human bones, animal bones, things from different eras, all jumbled together. They weren't just lost, they were trapped. Preserved. That's when the horrible truth finally clicked into place. This desert wasn't just a place, it was a thing. A living, thinking, predatory entity. It lay in wait, perfectly camouflaged as an ordinary patch of wilderness, hiding in plain sight. It didn't hunt you. It waited for you to notice it. The moment you realized the sun wasn't moving, the moment you saw the impossible footprints, the moment you felt its breath, that's when it had you. Seeing it was the trigger. And Once you saw it, you became part of its collection. You belonged to it. I spent what felt like an eternity in that timeless breathing wasteland, the lone survivor. When a real morning finally came, a faint sliver of dawn on a horizon that had been static for so long, I was utterly alone. The whispers had stopped. The ground was still. But as I started to walk, my heart a leaden drum in my chest, I looked back. My footprints trailed behind me, a clear path in the sand. But they didn't stop at my feet. They kept going. The impressions in the sand continued to form, one after another, walking forward. Without me, my body was an empty shell, and the desert was now walking in my shoes. Now I understand. I'm just a memory the desert is having. I understand why no map shows this place. It's not that cartographers missed it. The desert erases the memory of itself from the world, and it erases anyone who tries to remember it. It feeds on space and time and travelers who stray too far. So, if you're ever driving down a long, lonely road and you see a stretch of sand where no sand should be, a little pocket desert that seems out of place, do not slow down. Do not get curious. And whatever you do, don't stop. Just keep driving. Because the secret desert is always there, always watching, and it's always hungry. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy stories that explore the dark and unknown, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You never know what's hiding just off the beaten path. Stay safe out there.